Hello students. So in the last video I was explaining you about the difference between the interrupt and the subroutine. So subroutine is nothing but the program, part of a program or part of a task which is present within the same processor itself. Whereas here the interrupt, what it does is it will be from the different device which is being connected with that particular computer system. Okay, so here we can see the IO devices. So they will be connected with the processor, and these processor has to request or has to respond or has to request to these devices in order to get the work done. So the request, the part of the program or some task which will be performed by that particular IO devices, so they will be they will be consisting of the interrupt service routine. Okay, within that, so whenever the interrupt signal will be activated, and whenever there is some interrupt from a particular device to the processor, then that particular part of the program will be executed, and that particular part of the program is called as a interrupt service routine. Whereas a subroutine, it will be inbuilt within the processor itself. So interrupt latency is concerned with saving information in registers. That is when for example, here in this diagram you can see there is program 1 and program 2. So program 1, it does it is a computer routine, and program 2 is a print routine. So here the scenario is that there are two devices. One is that is a processor will be connected to the input device, and the input device will be giving the data to the processor, and then the compute part of the processor will be starting. So once the computation will be in the middle, that is when the ith line will be executed in that program compute routine, then the program 2, that is print routine, from the IO device, it will send a request to the processor that it needs to serve. It needs some input from the processor. So that is nothing but whatever has been computed, the lines have been computed, it has to be given to this print routine, and this print routine, it will be executing the printer statements, and the lines which have been passed from the compute routine will be printed in the print routine. So this is the scenario of the program. So once the processor will be executing the ith instruction, there will be the interrupt from the print routine. So once the interrupt occurs, then immediately after the completion of this ith instruction, the control has to be passed to this print routine from the processor. The processor will be serving the print routine program after the execution of the ith instruction. So at that particular point, whatever address will be there, so everything has to be the status of the program till what it has been completed, and what is the address it has to start after next getting the control. So all these information has to be stored in some register. Okay, so once it has been stored in the register, then the control will be the starting address of the routine, print routine, will be stored in program control. Program counter, that is the PC, is a register which will be storing the next address instruction which has to be executed. The address of the next instruction which has to be executed will be stored in PC. So that data, everything has to be stored in the register. So once the completion of this program, part of the program will take place, then the control has to be returned to the compute routine. So in compute routine, till I instructions, till the ith instruction it was executed, so it has to start from I+1 instruction. So that data also should be stored in some register. So thus the control will be transferred from the program 1 and program 2, and from again back from program 2 to program 1. So this is how the interrupt will occur, and the service routine which will be executed is print routine here. So most computers have several IO devices that can request an interrupt. A single interrupt request line may be used to serve n devices. So that is there is a single line here in this diagram, you can see. So this part is explained in the interrupt hardware. So how actually it looks. So how the interrupt line actually it looks, we can see here. So here these are the different IO devices will be connected, and from each and every IO device there will be one interrupt line. So this is INTR1, INTR2 till INTRN from IO1 IO device 1 to IO device N. So all this will be connected to a single INTR, and we'll be taking the complement of this in order to set the value for this interrupt request line. So that is about the interrupt hardware, how actually the interrupt signal will be generated and how it will be given to the processor, and from the processor how we will be getting the acknowledgement for that particular device which has been requested for the service from the processor. So that is about the interrupt hardware. Then next, moving to the enabling and disabling interrupts. All computers fundamentally should be able to enable and disable interruptions as desired. Again, reconsider the compute and print example. So when a device activates the interrupt request signal, that is here the print routine will be activating the interrupt request signal in our program. So it keeps this signal activated until it learns that the processor has accepted its request. So what happens here is the print routine, it will be sending some request line, and once the processor will be accepting the request, and it will send the acknowledgement to that particular routine, so that line will be activated only. So it will not be disabled, it will be enabled only. So when interrupts are enabled, the following is a typical scenario. So once it has been enabled, so once the acknowledgement, a processor will be requesting the accepting the request from the IO device. So these are the typical scenarios which are taking place. So first one is the device raises an interrupt request. The processor interrupts the program currently being executed. Interrupts are disabled by changing the control bits in the processor status register, that is PS, and the device is informed that his request has been recognized and deactivates the interrupt request signal. The action requested by the interrupt is performed by the interrupt service routine. Interrupts are enabled and execution of the interrupted program is resumed. So these are the 6 things which are going to take place once some routine or some program or some IO device will be sending the request, interrupt request to the processor. So we'll see in detail what actually it is. First thing is the device raises an interrupt request. That is, if our program which is that print routine, if it wants to access the processor, then it will be sending the request to the processor. So once the processor receives this message or this request signal, the processor interrupts the program. That is, currently the program compute will be going on, or it will be executed. So it will be stopped at that particular moment, and the control will be given. Before the control will be given, interrupts are disabled. So whatever interrupt signal was raised by that particular program or that particular routine, it will be disabled by changing the control bits in the processor status register. So there is a register maintained in order to save the control bits. So that register is called as a processor status register, which will be taking care of whichever signals are being enabled and whichever signals are being disabled. So once it has been disabled, then the device is informed that its request has been recognized and deactivates the interrupt request signal. So how it will be informed means by sending the acknowledgement signal. So the interrupt acknowledgement signal will tell the particular IO device that its request has been serviced, or it has been identified and it has been recognized and it will be processed. The action requested by the interrupt is performed by the interrupt service routine. So whatever a particular program will be stored at that particular address, so that part of the execution will be taken care by this interrupt request. So interrupts are enabled and execution of the interrupted program is resumed. So once interrupted program, this has been interrupting program has been executed, then the control will be given back to the interrupted program and it will be resumed. So this is how the working of the the interrupts will be worked out, or it will be taken care by the processor, and also it will be enabled and disabled in this way. So next is